Okay, this is part of NCEA level 3, and it's how you find solutions numerically. So what we're going to try and do is find a solution for this particular equation here, 2x minus tan x. Okay, first thing to recognize is that always questions are in radians. Okay, don't forget that. It's quite important. Okay, and the other one, I think it's a really good idea for you to get the idea of drawing a graph a bit. So we're going to do that. Okay, and we're saying the solution is between 1 and 1.5. Now you're told this bit because that's what that's all about. And so for bisection method, what we need to do first and foremost is get a table ready to go. So I've written my formula out at the top here so I don't forget what's going on, and we're going to have an x value, a y value that goes with it. Now the first x value is 1. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put x as a value of 1. I'll probably call it a to make my life a little bit easier. Okay, and I'll plug it in my graphics calculator in memory a. And then I'm going to say, well, that's 2 lots of 1 minus tan 1, and the solution to that one is 0.443. Then I'm going to say, well, x1, I was given that's 1.5, and I'm going to call that one b for my purposes. And I'll wallop that into the old calculator and say, thank you very much. And what it does is it gives you out an answer of negative 11.101. Okay, now all that's told you is that in terms of the graph, this has happened in actual fact. And so there was 1, and it gave me a little tiny answer of 0.433. And then here was 1.5, and that's given me a whoopsie big negative answer of 11. Okay, negative 11. So now all I'm going to do is say, well, hang on a minute, let's just split the difference and let's just go into there. So I do that. Well, splitting the difference between 1 and 1.5 is obviously 1.25. That's really easy. And I'm going to call that one memory C. And that's what I put into my calculator. Okay, and then what I do is when I get that, I get negative 0.510. And this is the whole point of bisection, okay? I've tried number 1, I got a positive answer. I tried 1.5, I got a big negative answer. I try 1.25, which is exactly halfway between 1 and 1.5. Okay, and I get a little negative answer. Now I haven't finished my first iteration, because what I'm going to say is that halfway goes there. So now I need between 1 and 1.5. And the simple rule you need to follow is that the x value that gives you a negative result replaces the previous x value that also gave you a negative result. So we're now going to replace 1.5 with 1.25. Okay, and we're going to remember to put the answer there, 510, and we're going to leave our original over here, 0.443 all alone. So now I can tell that the answer is between 1 and 1.25. And that is the end of the first iteration. Okay, you only complete the first iteration when you go between 1 and 1.25. You're saying that's my next step. That's where I would start the new one. So that's how I finished the old one. So now I know it's between 1 and 1.25. So I'm going to split the difference for that. And I'm going to write down that's 1.125. I'm going to just change colour there. Okay, and again, this is now memory A, this is now memory B. Okay, so I'm going to put a little b there. So this is the new memory C. And all I'm going to do, I don't have to work these out again, I've already got them. That's what's nice about this one, you can just copy the results down from where you were before. Okay, so 1.125 goes into this equation here. Okay, and I chug it along and I get an answer of 0.157. So now this time I've got a positive result from my x value. So that means I've got close to this way. And so I'm going to replace the previous x value that gave me a positive result with the new x value that gave me a positive result. So this now becomes 1.125 with a resulting 0.157. I've still got my previous 1.25, which gave me negative 0.510, and now I've completed the second iteration. Okay, the question asks me to find the 3 iterations, and that's normal. That's what we would expect to happen. And so now I'm going to split the difference between 1.125 and 1.25, which according to my calculator comes out as 1.188. I work that out, and that gives me a negative 0.105. So now I've got an x value that gave me a negative result. So I replace the previous x value that gave me a negative result. So that's there, 1.188, which gives us 0.105. Okay, the previous x value that gave me a positive result, therefore I'm going to leave completely alone. So that's now 1.125, giving me 0.157. And I've now completed 3 iterations. You only complete an iteration when you write down the starting point for the next one. So 3 iterations always fills up 4 rows. Is a really nice way to remember it. Okay, and that is all you have to do. Hopefully you'll remember that. If you've got any questions, come and ask. That's fine.